feedbacks from different consumers out there, and even some videos, they highlight maybe these 3 zones are kind of different. But I mean, ultimately, let us stop the debate once and for all, where we are all in D15. Of course, how we segmentize the entire D15 is D15 very big, or it goes all the way to C Club even. So of course, are there some differences between the vibe, the audience, the prices? Definitely. Well, but of course, if you say that these big three are not in the same location, I think that's a little bit too far off, because we are very, very near to each other, these 3 projects.
So the big question is this: how busy professionals and homeowners like us make 6-figure profits from the property we own safely? By doing it with research, data, and numbers. How do we buy in a way without complications and half-guessing, regardless of the market conditions, and still remain profitable? That is the question. Here, I will share with you exactly what we do and how we do it. My name is Edmund, and welcome to Singapore Real Estate Insider.
So speaking of location, right, let us look at the nearby surrounding, because I think this is very important if you look at the surrounding building heights. Right, so being Grand Dunman, we are basically in the red color zone. Okay, so directly opposite, they are also slated for the GLS, which is also the same plot ratio as Grand Dunman. So we'll be expecting also about 18 stories kind of building in front of you. So why is this important? Because if let's say today you are interested in Grand Dunman and you kind of wanting to kind of select the right facing, right unit type, right pricing, do reach out to us. We are doing this on a very regular basis to analyze, and which is why we are able to help clients to select the right property. And sometimes it's very kanchong, right? Whenever you ballot, and then on the spot you have to decide whether the price is right. Will you be forced to purchase a property? So we help our clients to select the property way in advance, and we have a lot of criteria to ensure that we enter safely. So if you need some help in data analyze, even the unit type, the layout, which one makes sense, my contact number is in the description. You can just reach out to me and we can always go through a discussion on how we can help you move forward with your property plan. All right, so facing like this is very important. Of course, the yellow color zone, these are all the landed facing, which of course they will definitely be commanding a little bit more premium because they're totally unblocked. All right, so let's take a look at the views. So if you're looking at the landed side, which is of course this entire area, right, you can see that the first thing you will get is the East Coast Park and the Sea View. Of course, Sea View you need to go quite a fair height. Okay, but the advantage of this direction of the views is your front are all the landed properties. So landed properties, the maximum that they can do is 3.5 story, and we are in the prime district, the Mountbatten area, where most of them are also 2.5 story. So even if you want to get a kind of unblocked view, you do not necessarily need to go very high, to be honest, okay, to be direct. But if you really want the sea view, then I would say go as high as possible. Okay, the distance is very comfortable. You definitely get the sea view in a longer stretch. But if let's say you are really just looking at the unblocked longest distance to the next high rise property, then actually you do not need to go for such a high one. Of course, the higher, we all know the PSF jump will be also much higher. So throughout this entire stretch, you'll be having quite a nice view. I think this is one of the main selling point for Grand Dunman, because it's very rare, right, for in the east side that you're able to get this kind of unblocked views, and I think this is definitely one of the premium, which I think they will definitely be priced this as a high premium at the same time. All right, so let us look at from another view how they are being like, just to give you guys a quick overview. All right, of course, look at the upcoming possibilities of how Grand Dunman location is, and perhaps some of you may not have some of this information. I just want to quickly run through this a little bit. Besides the nearby, okay, because we talk about somewhere nearer lah. Okay, they are basically upgrading the Mountbatten CC, and this will definitely boost up certain form of activities. So the entire area will, Dakota Crescent side will also rejuvenate, because we are going to see a lot more HDBs, in the newer ones there, and that becomes part of your exit strategy group. Why? Because those who stay nearby, very highly chance 80 to 90% of buyers in Singapore, they would like to buy back where they used to stay, they are familiar with. So the HDB upgraders are definitely your potential buyers in future once Grand Dunman is TOP. Right, so besides some of all these possibilities, we ourselves also have done some research. And this is also something that as we are doing D15 research, we also came upon some major uplifting. Okay, because I think a lot of times when everybody is talking about the big three, right? The Continuum, Tembusu Grand, as well as Grand Dunman, there is this concern about the oversupply, the supply of these three projects. And in future, let's say we have 4 and 5, will that area be too dense in terms of number of units? Because even with this big three, we're talking about easily 1,000, about 2,000 plus 3,000 units already. All right. So in future, will it increase to 4,000 plus? Is the sustainability of the demand going to be still in east side? So when we were doing our research, looking at the master plan, that's what one of our very, very key 5-point analysis. The first major thing is always to look at transformation in a certain location and how the location or area is going to boost up in terms of value, or is there a demand in future? So looking at this, you can see that, of course, Paya Lebar area, I'm sure every one of us, we know, just look at this area. All right, we know that existingly is already with commercial, is linked to Paya Lebar MRT. But do also take note that basically there will be a new hotel site that is going to be done nearby. And besides that, there will be 3 other plots. 1, 2, 3. They are all the reserve plots, actually 6 new plots. Okay, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are all reserve sites where government is putting it as a backup to determine whether do they want to build even residential, commercial, or even white sites. But at the moment, if I look at how the urban planning is, definitely they will be looking a little bit more on the commercial element. Maybe 1 or 2 plots could be a mixed development, we do not know. Because I think the entire Paya Lebar, this is to set forth for the future Paya Lebar airbase transformation. So these are all in line with Beyond 2030 plan. I'm just giving you guys a look into the magic crystal ball a little bit of how we see it. And not only that, what we are looking at, why East side will definitely get a little bit more vibrancy. There will still be demand because you must always understand how Singapore plans their property. Okay, you must always understand. Singapore always plan infrastructure first into a certain location. They will build the MRT, they will build the roads, they will build some community center, shopping mall first, and then they will slowly introduce residential inside. Because with infrastructure in, the demand will start going into that location. And when the demand goes in, when the residential properties go in, people will see that, hey, I can see myself living there. Does it make sense? So this upper part of the Paya Lebar side, right, we are going to see quite a fair bit of changes. Of course, the Tanjong Katong shopping mall, which has been there ages, all right, since I was young. My grandma used to stay at Hague Road side, so I walked up and down for so many times. The building is still there. So of course it has already been slated to be upgraded to a new concept, which is something very exciting. And of course, besides that, the Geylang Serai Cultural Precinct will also, and Juche Complex will also be updated. You see, so I would say, in my opinion, because of this entire area, it has always had that kind of old school vibe. Our City Plaza is still there. You see, so I think it's only a matter of time. This entire area will be shifted into the new modern era, and I would say the big three are leading the way into the new future of how District 15 is going to be transformed. And because with all these new upgrades, right, and I'm sure a lot of you who are Easterner, you will know there hasn't been much exciting things happening in the East for the longest time. Okay, I think of it this way. The last biggest news was Thomson East Coast Line, right? But those are just like for the Amber and Mayor people. For those, the others, nothing much different, because we still have our East-West line, right? You see, but I always believe when Singapore, they plan, they always have a bigger plan moving forward. So I'm actually very, very excited why this Paya Lebar area are going to be transformed. Of course, one, with the future Paya Lebar Air Base, there's another big potential there that we're going to see things changing. But there's also another location towards this side, right, that I draw the arrow lah. Okay, why I draw the arrow? Because something very exciting coming up. Okay, but not so soon. Okay, I really cannot share too much about this, but from how I study the urban planning of how Singapore is going to progress, there will definitely be another phase of property in the east side, in the next area, likely beyond the 5 to 6 years down the road. And I'm very excited about that because that likely is going to be my next location that I want to go into. Okay, my next property investment on stay kind of location. So let us look at the breakdown in terms of the units. All right, so generally for 1,000 units, you will have all sorts of configuration. And this is the property you go from 1 bedroom all the way to 5 bedroom, even the penthouses. But what is different between this development and Continuum as well as Tembusu Grand is the uniqueness about Singhai, okay, that they have dual key properties. So this is kind of classic in all their developments. They always build dual key. Of course, is dual key something that will be very comfortable to exit in future? That one, everybody have their mixed opinion. I will not touch too much on that.